series. There's Republican versus Democrat versus independent swing states. So I went this based off the presidential elections. If the party has won every presidential election since 2008, then it's either red or blue. But if it's swung, so even if it's like 3-1, they're in purple. Otherwise, they'd only be, if it was 2-2, there'd only be like 3 states in purple. So I had to make it 3-1 just to make it a bit more fair. So Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin are all blue leaning, while North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona are more red leaning. But to make it more fair, they're all swing for this. So to start off, actually, the red and the blue team, although they disagree on a lot of issues, they sign a non-aggression pact in hopes of eliminating purple. So they start off by splitting Arizona. By the way, Phoenix is a bit more further south. So what they do here is they know Phoenix would be very Republican leaning or Democrat leaning. So they agree to partition Phoenix. In the north, the red team basically gets all of it. In the north, the red team gets everything. However, knowing Phoenix was lean Democrat and fearing a revolt, they let the Democrats take Phoenix. And they also, they let the Democrats take Phoenix. However, they set up a little connection here, so they could get to Alaska, just in case. They don't want Alaska to be cut off. So with Arizona partitioned, now they go to partition this, area, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So because the, red team controls much of the surrounding area, and the blue team only shares a border with North Carolina, that's what they do. The blue team gets North Carolina, while the red team takes control of the rest. So the red team takes control. Now Florida and Georgia, they're not weak states, so it's not that easy to take over. In fact, they're very strong states, and they put up a good fight. I lied, by the way, with how they take them over. The red team starts pushing in. Oh my god. They start pushing in, and holy crap. They push into Georgia. They launch their assault. They push into Florida's panhandle. They take much of it. However, once again, they're stopped at Jacksonville, hoping to cut off Georgia. Meanwhile, seeing that the Republicans are struggling, the Democrats start a push from North Carolina in hopes of getting part of Georgia. The Republicans are pretty pissed, but there's nothing they can really do because they are losing. The Democrats make a push to Jacksonville, and with the city surrendered, knowing that their living conditions would be better under the Democrats, they surrender to the Democrats, who then have access to the rest of Florida, and the Democrats actually take over Florida. Now, Florida is a very tough one, but with the Republicans bad, the Democrats don't want to anger the Republicans, so they let them have the rest of Georgia despite helping in taking it over. So now the Democrats have some pretty disgusting borders. They took over much of Georgia, but the Republicans now, but the Democrats now control much of Florida, as the Floridians wanted it. They actually held a vote right before they got taken over. That's why the force at Jacksonville surrendered to the Democrats. So up here, many of these states are Democratic leaning. So they agree to partition these states. However, the Democrats being the stronger country, so the Republicans take control of these two states. Iowa is given full Republican control. While the Democrats, they take the coast of Wisconsin, but the rest is given to the they take the coast as well as a bit here to connect them to Minnesota. However, the rest is taken by the Republicans. The Republicans also take Michigan's Upper Peninsula, at least for now. And the lower peninsula they make a landing in, and they take it over, but with major help from the blue team, as once again that's the stronger place. Indiana also, Indiana falls to the red team from a joint Kentucky invasion thing, while Ohio and Pennsylvania both fall to the blue team, as they both want to fall to the blue team, because once again their living conditions would be better. I don't want to be biased here, but the Democrat team, like, better, it's richer, the states are wealthier, the people are wealthier, and they're more accepting, so these states vote to become part of the Democratic nation, and they surrender to the Democrats. So that's it for the, what's it called? Yeah, that's it for the partition of the purple team. Whatever. I'll just ignore that. That's it for the partition of the purple team. They stood a decent, not really, chance. And now, with those two teams gone, the Democratic team is the first to backstab with invading South Carolina, as it's completely surrounded, and the state falls. So the Republicans hoped for peace, but the Democrats obviously didn't let them have that. So the Republicans are understandably pissed. There's not really much they could do. They send a naval invasion of Hawaii, and they first send Texan troops and land on this island, and then they launch their invasions. I think Honolulu's on this one, but whatever. They take over Hawaii, the state falls. So Hawaii's very Democrat. By the way, revolts could happen. In a lot of Texas, revolts are already happening, as once again, these states lean very Democrat. And the first states to declare independence, the first places are actually Texas out here. The Texas Triangle declares independence. This time, instead of a republic, they are a monarchy once again, like the Republic of New York in the last video. What color should we make them? Texas Triangle could be green. So a Texas Triangle, which is more... So Texas held a referendum to solidify their own power. However, it backfired, and the Texas Triangle got its independence. Another thing is Georgia. They really didn't want to fight the Georgians because they wanted to be part of the blue team. So instead of declaring independence, they straight up their forces just retreated and they got invaded. As well as the panhandle of Florida got taken over. So it's not looking so great for the Republican team. They just lost some of their most important parts. But now a major offensive is being set up out here in the west. So forces push into Idaho and Utah and Arizona. And then they actually push back. They keep pushing into Wyoming and Montana and take all of it. However, and then they also push into Wisconsin and Michigan, and Indiana is taken. The Texan Triangle troops make their offensive into this area, and they take much of it, setting up a land border with their ally, the blue team. And now with the red team looking really bad, they actually surrender. I know this is my first one-part video, but the red team surrenders, and for the peace treaty, and during the peace treaty, all of this land is given to the blue team. This is given to the blue team. The Texas Triangle takes all of Texas. Texas Triangle now controls all of Texas, and they renamed they renamed to Gulf of Mexico. Virginia and West Virginia eliminate their border. What am I doing? Virginia and West Virginia eliminate the border, and Virginia takes over the whole state to solidify, because of Virginia's contributions during the war. So all this is now part, just ignore that. Virginia annexes West Virginia. And Alaska and Hawaii are also both annexed by the blue team, as well as all this area, by the way. Alaska and Hawaii are annexed by the blue team. And the rest of this area is made part of the Republican area, as well as Wyoming and Montana, as they are very Republican states. And they don't want to upset them that much, so they give them all this. However, these are rather weak states, so yeah, that's my first one-part video. If it's rushed, then I won't do it. It feels kind of rushed, but then again, my other videos felt dragged on. So, there you go. That's what